Peter, Paul, and Mary, and my name's Claire. Curly, Mo, and Larry, my name's Claire. Michael, Jermaine, and Tito, and my name's Claire. Welcome to Jurassic World.
Hey, Claire. What are you doing?
Nothing. What are you doing here? I told you I didn't want a second date.
I'm not here for a second date.
You're not?
There's been a spill.
A spill?
Come on, let's go check it out. Stay here.
Okay. What's going on here?
I thought I told you to stay in the car.
You are not in control here.
Yeah, this is a really bad spill.
You think it'll harm the dinosaurs?
We gotta go.
Agree. Lowry, we have a beverage out of containment. What's that? This is really bad. Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Jurassic World Tyrannosaurus Rex and Stegoceratops repaints. Alright you guys, so as you can see here from the packaging, it's the same thing that we've seen all the way thus far into the Hasbro Jurassic World toy line. So nothing new there, don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But they did in fact change it up so that we get the green T-Rex on the back of the packaging for the T-Rex and then the brown Stegoceratops for the Stegoceratops' packaging. You will also see that the Stegoceratops' packaging is a little bit wider in order to accommodate its wider body. Alright you guys, let's kick things off here with the T-Rex. Now I wasn't initially going to purchase either the T-Rex or the Stegoceratops repaints, but after a lot of back and forth I decided to go ahead and get them, especially since the Stegoceratops especially looked a little bit intriguing to me with the new colors. The T-Rex here, as you can see, is 100% identical to the original release, with the added change that the skin color is green. Everything else about the dinosaur, from the sculpt work to the articulation to the action feature to the screw holes, is all completely the same. And just like with its predecessor, it's going to have the same exact flaws that that one had as well. Give you a close-up here of the head. Just like with the other one, it's not a very accurately done head. Doesn't look a whole lot like the Jurassic Park T-Rex. It has a very boxy-looking head, very wide lower jaw. Just not very accurate in terms of what this animal would have looked like. Not to mention the hugely disproportionate head, which is just so big. And, there's the rest of the body there. The legs actually look pretty good. That's probably where you're going to get the most detail. But the scales are way too large. You get the JW logo there, Dino Damage, other side. Essentially the same exact thing. And a very narrow tail, way too narrow. You do get your articulation at the arms. And you get your articulation there at both of the legs. So you can kind of like lean on its tail if you wanted to do something like that, which, isn't correct. So you want to have it like that. It seems to stand pretty well, actually, despite the fact that the feet are not perfectly flat on the surface. Action features, just like before, you pull down on the tail and it puts its head up, and you move the tail back and forth, and it opens the mouth. It works okay. I don't think it's the best action feature out of the Bashers and Biters line. The coloration itself, it's a little bit unsightly, ain't gonna lie about that. It just looks a little bit, far out. Another really unfortunate and kind of sad thing about this guy is the fact that the greens are kind of mismatched. Like the legs and the tail are a deeper kind of green than like the body. Arms look a little bit deeper in color too. Just weird that, Hasbro seems to have had a pretty big issue with this as far as the Jurassic World toy line is concerned. So let's look at it under different types of lighting and see where it's more noticeable.
Under bright kitchen lighting, it's not too noticeable. I'd say it's probably about the same. With indoor natural lighting, you can sort of see the differences a little bit more now, I think, especially there with the legs. Outside in the shade, you can still see the differences a little bit. And then in direct sunlight, you can certainly see that the legs are quite a bit different. Even the front jaw looks to be a little bit different of a shade of green.
I'll go ahead and bring in the original version now so you can see them both together. The original one had more of a natural looking paint scheme. It's still not accurate to the film, and the fact that its stripes on like the head don't run all the way through its body, which has been a big problem with T-Rexes in the Jurassic World line, is a bit bothersome. But you see the same thing with the new repaint. You also see that things like the eyes look to be about the same, both yellow eyes with the cat eye, which isn't correct. As far as which one is better, that is very much up to you. Personally, I'm not a fan of either one of these all that much. If I had to pick one, though, I think I would say that the green one, only for the reason being that it looks a little bit more visually interesting. They're both pretty ugly. I'll go with the green one just because it's a little bit better looking, and I think the black paint on the face looks a little bit better, although I wish that it did have the stripes going all the way down through the body. Between 1 and 5 stars, I would say that I would give the repaint 2 stars. I mean, it's not really a great product, but, at least it's a little bit more striking in appearance than the original release. Moving right along to the Stegoceratops.
Think it'll scare the kids? The kids? This will give the parents nightmares.
Again, like with the T-Rex, the Stegoceratops is a 100% complete same sculpt as the original. The difference here, of course, is going to be the paint. Now, unlike with the T-Rex, I actually think that this one looks better than its predecessor. It just has an all-around more interesting and nicer looking paint scheme that I like a little bit better. Just as before, the sculpting is okay on it. I mean, it's decent for what it is. It's not all that great. You do get a decent amount of detail throughout its body and on the spikes on its back. Of course, this isn't a real dinosaur. This is a hybrid. So there's nothing really for us to go off of in terms of comparing it to whether or not it's realistic. Close up there of the head. As you can see, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, if this were just a Triceratops without trying to be like a hybrid, I think I would like it better. But, for what they did here, I think it looks pretty decent. The stripes are interesting on the horns because you see that the bottom of the horns are like the same color as the skin, but then the top of the horns have like a lighter kind of coloring. Very weird and probably not very realistic, but hey. Interesting pattern here on the frill as well. You kind of have like some lighter tan and then some orange. The beak looks to be about the same color as the skin. Maybe it's a little bit lighter. You see more of the lighter beige coloration on the spikes and more of the beige-ish yellow cream color there with some orange highlights there on both of the legs. Underside has a little bit of a lighter beige color. The spikes are about the same color as the tail, though, which they should be more of a bone color, I think. And, same with the spikes. I don't know why they did a two-tone sort of thing here. I mean, this isn't, a Ford pickup from the 90s. This is a Stegoceratops. But anyway, like I said, it's not very realistic. There's your dino damage. You get the JW logo. As far as articulation goes, you can move around all 4 of the legs, just as before. This one seems to be a little bit loose. And for the action feature, same thing. You push the tail down and it pushes its head forward. And you move it side to side like that, or push it to the left. So if you want to ask it a question like, do you know why you exist? It's going to tell you no, because that's about all I can say. And go ahead and bring in the original Stegoceratops so you can compare the two. As you can see, they're quite different in terms of paint scheme. It's not just the coloration, it's actually the detail that they did. The original one had more of like, just like coloring inside the frill that was kind of blended in. This one actually has patterns, and the same is true for the legs. You do see similar coloration on the plates there on the back for both of them. And the original one also had spikes that were the same color as the tail, which isn't, very accurate. Though it did have more of I guess this isn't really bone color, but more of like an orangey looking set of horns and beak, which, at least seems a little more accurate than the new one. Now, one thing I will say about the new one is that if you look at the eyes on both of them, I think that the new Stegoceratops looks better. Like, The original one looks okay. I mean, the eyes on it aren't terribly bad. But for whatever reason, I just think that they're done a little bit more nicely and a little more natural looking for the repaint. I just like that quite a bit better. So in terms of which of these guys is a better overall dinosaur, they're about the same, but personally I do prefer the paint scheme on the new one. I just think it's a nicer looking paint scheme. I like the patterning on it. It almost has like a classic Jurassic Park feel, the way they did those stripes there on the legs and on the frill, which I'm fond of. On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, though, I'd probably give it 3 stars. It's a better toy than the T-Rex, but it's still not, anything terribly great. But hey, this is a Stegoceratops. If you want one of those, you have to turn to Hasbro's Jurassic World line because that's the only way to get one. And I would suspect that we might see this repacked in the Hybrids line coming next year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. These are the Hasbro Jurassic World Bashers and Biters Wave 3 Tyrannosaurus Rex and Stegoceratops repaints. Overall, it is a pretty mixed bag. If you already own the original releases, then you know what to expect here. You don't really need these in your collection. If you don't have either one, then I do think the Stegoceratops is a little bit cooler in appearance than the original. The T-Rex, take your pick between one or the other, though it's just not a very good toy at all. I haven't seen these at retail. I know several people that I talked to have, but from what I understand, they are hitting. I got mine off Amazon.com for roughly around $9.99 a piece. Alright, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to please like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about these two guys and whether or not you're planning on picking them up. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, and as always, I want to thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.